Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insight, and we go as guided. And welcome to 2026, a beautiful 10-year, which is a 1 year. And that's where we're going to jump off and leap into all of this. Welcome, Alicia. So very excited about these new energies this 1 year, this 10-year, this 1 year. And let's just look at that really quickly. We're going to talk about the spiritual meaning of 2026 before we jump into all the other energies. Spiritually, 2026 is seen as a powerful year of new beginnings. It's a universal 1 year, marking the start of a new 9-year cycle, emphasizing leadership, fresh starts, self-expression, and divine purpose, where individuals are encouraged to step into their true identity, take bold action, and build a new reality, potentially facing down old challenges with newfound courage. It is time for rebirth, unity, and aligning with one's highest potential, with themes of confronting negativity and manifesting a more unified, dignified existence. This is all, and we're just about a month-ish away from moving from the year of the wood snake in Chinese astrology to the year of the fire horse. So you can see that we have all this beautiful, powerful energy culminating, building. 2026, it's about, the core meaning is a reset. You'll see we talked about that, a hard reset that was in the last show of 2025. So the core meaning is a reset, a clean slate. We're coming to that. That's our main theme. This clean slate after the completions of 2025, a 9-year, inviting bold first steps into the unknown. The number 1 signifies taking charge, leading, and initiating, urging people to act on their unique visions and bring positive change. This is about your unique vision, your soul. This isn't ego, mind, personality. This is what comes from the divine, from within, and how that brings about positive change. And it's also a year to become who you're meant to be. Express your authentic self and step into your soul's year for personal growth. And lastly, the 1 also calls for the remembering of shared humanity, fostering dignity and collective responsibility for the greater good. And last but not least, sorry, I was a little premature there. It's also in numerology, 2026 links, of course, to the number 1, but also the number 10. And so in the tarot, the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. And it's ruled by Jupiter. It's governed by Jupiter. And it's this whole aspect of how, the wheel is ever ongoing, it's ever changing. And that 10 becomes a 1, which is the magician. And this is the master manifester. This is, Master Jesus co-creating, that we have everything we need at our disposal, at our hands, and within us. And so this beautiful Wheel of Fortune, the 10, and then the magician, the 10 and the 1. And 2026 in summary is about embracing the pioneer within, forging new paths, expressing your true self, and collectively building a more unified and purpose-driven world, even if it means confronting past limitations. So you can see we're just banging off. 2026 is this 10/1 year. The wheel is turning. All the major outer planets are moving forward into new signs. And just stop and think about that. I mean, Neptune, it's a 165-year cycle. That on 1/26/26, Neptune will officially move to 0 degrees Aries. It begins a new 165-year cycle. Just after that, early February, Saturn moves into 0 degrees Aries. That creates a new 27-year cycle. 27, 29, right in there. Pluto has already began a new 246-year cycle in Aquarius. Jupiter and Uranus will follow suit, and they each, one is 84-year cycle, and the other I'm trying to remember, but you get the picture. These are major cycles that are resetting themselves, all within that 14, 16-month window that we've been talking about. So, main theme, 2026, a blank slate, out with the old, in with the new. And this is a real, line in the sand, a demarcation point and moment, because 2026, and you see the horse energy, it's the fire horse, it's all in these rainbow colors, because coming to that, it's about our true colors, our true nature. And that is what is occurring and happening. It's number 1 from the unseen. And they said this is the time of the great awakening, the great unfolding. This 2026, 2027, 2028. So there's this 3-year arc that's going to happen, but it's happening now. And so let's just look at the great awakening, this great unfolding. The spiritual meaning of the great awakening unfolding involves a collective shift in consciousness towards unity, self-awareness, and interconnectedness, moving beyond fear-based societal programs to embrace inner truth, compassion, and a sacred relationship with the earth and universe. As above, so below. Often catalyzed by personal crises and leading to a deeper sense of purpose and co-creation. It's a journey of shedding the ego, questioning old beliefs, and aligning with a higher awareness to experience life as a unified spiritual whole. It talks about this great awakening and the great unfolding is about heightened ability to observe thoughts, emotions, leading to personal growth and emotional resilience. It's about reevaluating societal, cultural, and religious dogmas that no longer resonate with inner truth. It's recognizing unity with all life and the planet, fostering compassion and social responsibility. It's a catalyst for change, often triggered by intense, emotionally charged events, loss, upheaval, forcing identity, re-evaluation, and an ego death. We've talked about this a lot, about the, in essence, the death, the purification of the ego, mind, personality, human, so that the soul source connection comes forward, leads. That is this moment. This is the time of the great awakening, the great unfolding. It's a move from external validation, money, status, belongings, and so forth, to inner peace, unity, and conscious living. It's a shift from polarized views to a collective understanding of humanity as one, driven by love, joy, and peace. How it unfolds? It's a personal journey, like a snowflake's crystallization unfolding in divine timing. It will be both collective but individual. We've talked about how open are you? How aligned are you? How willing are you? And that the more that you are open, aligned, willing, in the flow, the faster the awareness and the connection and the resolution, the alignment to the new happens, unfolds, occurs, awakens. Are you at the tip or are you at the tail cone or somewhere in between? It involves facing the disillusion of the old self, that ego death, and embracing a deeper, more authentic self. This is the death card in the tarot. The death card in the tarot is symbolic. It can be it's symbolic. Most times it is. This ending of something, of an older iteration of ourselves, for that rebirth and that renewal of the one that is, the one to come. And lastly, how it unfolds, it's the process. The process brings increased sensitivity, synchronicities, meaning air quotes, coincidences. There are no coincidences. It's all masterfully crafted and created. And a desire for spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, this alignment and openness to the one, the all that is, your soul source connection. And so let's jump in just really quickly. Let's look at the energies. Our main energies are, it's a 1 with the creative. So January is a 1. It's the creative force. It's the divine masculine, the creative force, initiate. The 7 is return, go back. It's about looking at things so that, again, we realize where we've been so we know where we're going. Then another 1, so we got double 1s, double creative force to initiate. And then 9, small restraint, surrender. This, again, completions, looking at the completion of the wood snake in the Chinese astrology, that everything that we've been sloughing off, that we've been letting go of. And of course, in the analogy of a snake, the sloughing off of the skin, when you see a snake just after that, it looks like it's just been born. I mean, it's just the skin, the scales, all of that is just crystalline, perfect, beautiful, and it begins a new cycle. So this 9, this completion of a 9-year cycle on a personal level. Yes, collectively, but it's personal. And so let's take a look at the astrological energies. We're going to be working with the energy of the full moon that just occurred on the 3rd of January. It was a first super full moon of the year of 2026. It occurred in Cancer. And something, again, that's different, you notice that the symbols are different for this year, for 2026. So we have baptism by fire, that's the flame above the all-seeing eye. These two combined speak to the Sacred Heart. So it's this baptism by fire, which is the Holy Spirit, the awakening, the all-seeing eye, it's all-knowing, and this being awakened within us. When I looked intuitively at the super full moon in Cancer astrology chart, what I heard was betwixt and between, no longer, no more. And this blast off, we've had that. This blast off, things are moving fast. Welcome, Colleen. That this is really, this window of time between now and April, it's just, I'm hearing Alicia Keys, this girl is on fire. Like this energy is on fire. And so when we look at these astrological influences, again, that the unseen is saying to us, betwixt and between, no longer, no more. And it's number 3 as well, betwixt and between, no longer, no more, blast off. It's speaking to these energies. And look what, on 1/1/2026, Mercury entered Capricorn. So that means things are going to be grounded. The way we think, speak, and talk, it's going to be in a grounded way. It's going to have meaning. It's got grit to it. On the 2nd, just the next day, Chiron, the wounded healer, stationed direct in Aries. So it's going to be moving direct. On the 3rd, we had the super full moon in Cancer. Now this is where on the 6th, the 8th, and the 9th of January, so this is coming, well, yesterday and then coming up tomorrow and the next day, the Sun and Venus had their cazimi. This is where Venus is in the heart of the Sun. Then on the 8th, Venus and Mars, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, are conjunct. They come together. And this happens every so many months. It's like a year plus. So they come together. They're in harmony and unity. And then on the 9th, Sun and Mars, the divine masculine, Mars is in the heart of the Sun. So this is a major renewal of the divine feminine, the divine masculine, those two coming together in harmony, in oneness, all at the beginning of the year. You see how all of this is being orchestrated for us you see the big smile, my cheeks are smiling, I hope you hear it in my voice. These are big, this blank slate, out with the old, in with the new, and that this is the time of the great awakening, the great unfolding, 2026, 2027, 2028. Why? Because number 2 from the unseen is, it's time to rise, exclamation point. It's time to rise. Humanity perfected, personified. And then I heard the lyrics, Free Your Mind, from En Vogue. And free your mind by En Vogue means to overcome prejudice, stereotypes, and societal judgments by looking beyond superficial things like race, clothing, music, and instead judging people by their character and actions, promoting tolerance and self-reliance. It's a powerful anthem urging listeners to break free from conditioning and embrace open-mindedness, as seen in the lyrics about fashion, race, and judging others. So this whole, it's time to rise. It's time to rise above the dogma, the conditioning, the narratives, these old stories and scripts and labels and ways of living. Humanity perfected, personified. Free your mind. When we free our minds, when we stop buying in, going down the rabbit hole, buying into all of this illusion and delusion and BS, we wake up, we awaken, we align ourselves, we realign ourselves, we move faster towards, I'm just going to bring up this beautiful main image again, this main theme of a blank slate, this fire horse that's coming on. The Chinese New Year is on the 17th of February, and on that same day we have a solar eclipse on the same day. Solar, fire. So you can see this is high octane energy. This is high octane change. And that we're betwixt and between, no longer, no more. Blast off. This isn't some slow boat to China, so to speak. This is this is like the bullet train. This is what we're looking at. So again, the deconstruction, the construction, how quickly things deconstruct, dismantle, and how fast the new comes about. So we're looking at all of these. Our mantra is, in the light of my soul, I am. In the light of my soul, I am. Well, this is a spiritual phrase signifying inner truth, goodness, divine connection, and guidance. It's found in songs and prayers like the Jewish Dua of Light and inspirational quotes representing inner clarity, peace, and spiritual awakening that leads to beauty and harmony in the world. It suggests living authentically, guided by one's highest self or a divine presence, illuminating life's path. So again, it's the master magician, it's the wheel of fortune, it's all of this turning and manifesting, co-creating, but our highest self, this divine presence, this illuminating life's path. It's not the old us, it's not the old dogma, it's not where we've been. This is all present future, where we are, where we're going. It represents inner guidance, a sense of inner knowing or truth that helps you navigate life. It's a divine connection, realizing God, the God light is within you, the divine light is within you, or being filled with this divine presence. It's an inherent state of goodness and truth within a person. And lastly, a moment of profound peace, clarity, or alignment. And this goes to number 7 from the unseen. And they said willpower, divine will, align, surrender to the force within. So this divine connection, this realizing the God light or the divine light is within you, or being filled with that divine presence. It's not about, we're going to harness our willpower. However, what we're harnessing, what is superseding our will, is that willpower, that divine will. And that when we align and surrender to it, we're aligning, surrendering to the force within. Not our ego, mind, personality, human force, our divine masculine, but the divine will. And when we align with that power, that willpower, that divine will, oof, fire horse. I mean, it's blast off. It's actionary. It's a game changer. It's a mic drop. All of this is going to converge. All of this is going to align. And again, wherever you are on your path is where you are. You're not late. You're right on time. You're always somewhere. And so it's just to, again, by choice, recognize where you are, pick up the pieces, and release, align, and get moving. Because the sloughing off of the snake is coming to a completion on February 17th. And the ending is the beginning and the end. So as the wood snake ends, the fire horse takes off. It's time to rise. And I want to go to our key word, permeate. And so in this beautiful word, permeate, to penetrate, pass through, and often become widespread throughout something. To spread through something and be present in every part of it. To spread to every part of an object or a place. Spiritually, permeate means to be thoroughly saturated or filled with a divine presence, truth, or energy, like a sponge soaking up water, allowing the divine's word, peace, or spirit to spread through your entire being, your thoughts, your actions, creating deep connection and transformation. It signifies a profound absorption of spiritual substance, spiritual abundance. It's number 6. We're in the money, spiritual abundance, and the color green. So I'm going to come to that next, the color green. But this permeate is about spiritual substance, spiritual abundance, moving beyond mere intellectual understanding to an all-encompassing inner experience that overflows into one's life and interactions, transforming one's very character and morality. This is big energy. We're in the money, this spiritual abundance, and the color green. So the color for the year 2026 is green. Spiritually, green symbolizes growth, renewal, harmony, and healing, deeply tied to nature, life, and the heart chakra, representing love, compassion, and balance between the mind and the body. It signifies new beginnings, prosperity, and vitality. But depending on the shade, it can also represent or point to jealousy and materialism. So again, are we in the purity of the color green or the shadow of it? Key spiritual meanings of the color green is growth and rebirth, represents the natural cycle of life, new beginnings, and regeneration, much like plants in spring. It's the heart chakra. It governs love, compassion, forgiveness, and emotional balance, connecting the physical and the spiritual. It's nature and earth. It symbolizes the environment, vitality, and the interconnectedness of all living things. It's healing and health associated with restoration, well-being, and a soothing presence. And it speaks to prosperity and luck, often linked to abundance, good fortune, and financial gain, especially emerald green. So there's this aspect you can see again. Wheel of Fortune. The wheels are turning. Everything is moving forward in a way that has not happened in eons with these outer planets, as above, so below. That then becomes the one. So this is a 10-year that becomes a 1 year. The magician, this master manifestation, co-creator, that we have everything. It's within us. We have everything we need. And then, of course, it's just high octane. It's the horse. It's this beautiful fire horse that's arriving that says, oh, this is go time. It's time to rise. And how it's this blast off energy. This is not a slow roll. This is quick, fast moving energy. And so where are you on the road to blast off, lift off? Out with the old, in with the new. So now let's move to, I want to jump, we're going to barrel through, there's so much here. So I want to go to astrologer Chani Nicholas. This is both from her New Year's Guide to Manifesting and Your Time Is Now. It's the weekly issue number 97. So New Year's Eve Guide to Manifesting. There's something irresistible about the clean slate of a calendar year, a blank slate, out with the old, in with the new, 2026. And with the astrology of 2026, we're about to get a hard reset. That was literally from the last show. It was number 3 from the December 24th, 2025 show, a hard reset, a whole new way of being, this operating system, and that individualism versus collectivism, and this, Microsoft versus Macintosh. So here, astrologer Chani Nicholas is talking about, and with the astrology of 2026, we're about to get a hard reset. But let's be real. New year, new me can feel like a lot of pressure when you're drained from the previous year and the holiday season. Your motivation to reinvent yourself might be battling your emotional burnout, and that's okay. The slower pace that many people experience around the new year gives us a chance to pause, reflect, set intentions, and start fresh. You don't need to have it all figured out. We don't need to have it all figured out. All we need to do is be in alignment with divine will, that willpower, with soul source connection, and allow it to unfold, to awaken, to create. But it's in alignment. We don't have to force anything. It's the narrowest path before us. It's like threading the needle. It's that walking this very fine, narrow path between do nothing, the past, and not racing forward. It's allowing. It's threading the needle. It's allowing. It's allowing everything to unfold for us. So we don't have to have it figured out, Chani Nicholas. You just need a willingness to make moves, some moves, no matter how small, toward building the life you want to live. So it's about staying in that beautiful registry of awakening and unfolding. And by the way, this, the time of the great, this is the time of the great awakening, the great unfolding. This came to us. I asked our dear friend and soul family member and colleague, Debbie Wilson from Endless Essences, what's the unseen saying? And she came back with this, approximately a month ago. And then all of a sudden for the 2026 inaugural show, it was like, boom, here it is. And so I said to her, what you came with is what they're speaking about right now. So big shout out to Debbie Wilson at Endless Essences for the time of the great, this is the time of the great awakening, the great unfolding. because it's setting the tone for 2026. Channing Nicholas, the weekly number 97. Your time is now. Believe the hype. This week is the fresh start you've been craving for connection, for courage, and for getting things done. There's nothing we cannot face. And as we face moving forward, the Wheel of Fortune, things moving, it's just simply to embrace them. Replace, faith versus fear. Have faith in walking the path that is unfolding. There will be sloughing away, meaning the letting go of something old. However, something great, something new is presenting itself. And so we just have to be willing to walk that very narrow path. Few do, but that's the greatest opportunity. It is the path less traveled. So be willing to walk it. So she's talking about this is the week you've been waiting for, the craving for connection, for courage, and for getting things done. But it isn't going to wait for you to feel ready. Venus and Mars, we talked about the conjunction, they've come together, both join the sun in Capricorn, forming back-to-back cazemis, that's when a planet is in the heart of the sun, together with the sun, that kick the year off with energy and drive. The assignment is simple. Commit to what you love, then follow through like you mean it. Because Jupiter is also in the mix. Anything you seed now has extra lift and luck. Don't worry about making things perfect. Just make a move on something that matters. Then another and another. That's how to win this week. Consistency that slowly grows into confidence. So it's just simply allowing. That's maybe a key word. Permeate, allow, unfold. Allow these things to guide you and stay in faith, not fear. It is all change. With the Wheel of Fortune, it's all about change. And so this whole unfolding, the great awakening and unfolding, 26, 27, 28, 2026, 2027, 2028, there's going to be a full and unfolding, and it's front-loaded. So this year, 2026, major changes because it's time to rise. We're betwixt, between, no longer, no more. It's blast-off time. And 2026 is number 4 from the unseen. They said 2026, baptism by fire. Well, that's Pentecost. It's the Holy Spirit descending, awakening, illuminating. And they said, be ready. And then the lyrics by Cyndi Lauper, True Colors. And the beauty of this, show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. This is the unseen. This is the divine. This is God, the all that is, source, speaking to us and saying, I know it's been hard. I know this journey of deconstruction and construction and transformation and transfiguration. It's not easy. However, your soul, 8 billion souls, our souls chose to be here for this moment, to participate, to bear witness, to literally usher it in, bring it about. And so, and in the chorus line of True Colors, it's, and I'll see your true colors. That has a double entendre because, again, that drawing the line in the sand, you're being seen, you're being counted, and are you on the train that's going somewhere, that's going to the new? Or are you on the one that's over, ended? And I'll see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. And remember, the rainbow is the covenant. It's the covenant between humanity and the divine. This rainbow. So the unseen, I'll see your true colors. I'll know what's in your heart. I'll know what you truly desire. And when you're weary, call on me. Because in this moment, 2026, it's number 4. It's foundational. It's baptism by fire. Be ready. True colors. Now let's move to astrologer Pam Youngins and North Point Journal. And there's so much to, we got to put my specs on for a minute here. And Colleen is saying so needed. Yes, all of this is so needed, and we're so ready. We're so ready for it. And you'll see how we're crossing the threshold here. So in speaking about the new year, Pam Youngins at North Point Journal, according to the Gregorian calendar, we crossed the threshold into a new numerical year this week. While the planets are unaffected by humanity's definitions and divisions of time, the collective consciousness focuses strong energies of anticipation about this transition from an old to a new year. Sometimes the astrology supports that feeling of expectation, as it most certainly does this year, as we contemplate all that the planets hold in store for us in 2026. So Pam Youngins is speaking to the fact that the astrology is in concert, supporting and speaking to this collective focus of energy about crossing this threshold. You'll see that also with astrologer Juliana McCarthy coming up from Ethereal Culture. Back to Pam Youngins, North Point Journal. The full moon. The lunar cycle that began with the eventful new moon on December 19th, 2025, reaches its climax when the full moon perfects at 2:02 on Saturday, January 3rd, Pacific time, when Luna is at 13 degrees Cancer and exactly opposite the sun at the same degree of Capricorn. This is another super full moon, the 4th in a row. So once again, the night sky will be brightly lit up and pull on our emotional bodies in a more strong fashion. It's important to note this is the 4th super full moon in a row at this 13 degrees. This is happening, both the full moons and the new moons, for 7 installations, if you will, are occurring at these exact same degrees. It's another thing that hasn't happened. It's going to be like 7 full moons at 13 degrees and 7 new moons at 28 degrees. This is, again, something, an anomaly, if you will, astrologically. Pam Youngins goes on, the objective, practical nature of Capricorn is also strong with this Cancer full moon, with both Venus and Mars closely conjunct together with the Sun at the time of this lunation. This lunation also marks the beginning of a several-week period in which the Sun, Venus, and Mars journey side by side. This stellium, it's known as a stellium, the stellium in motion, which will soon include Mercury, the messenger, supports creating new alliances that honor each person's individuality and finding ways to work together to achieve a shared goal. So realize the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Mars, all the interpersonal planets are going to be together in a stellium. They're going to be journeying together. So you can see the whole renewal, this handoff from the sloughing off of the wood snake to the running of the fire horse, and how all of that is coming in together. Welcome, Renee. And yes, you're speaking about the Cancer full moon, super full moon. It was powerful. Yes, very powerful and very nurturing. The beauty of it in Cancer, and with all of the personal planets in Capricorn, so that it's grounded. So even though the emotion of it, Cancer, the emotion of it can be strong, we're rooted. We've got this anchor with the Sun, and then the divine masculine, the divine feminine being in the heart of, being burned away to renew all of that, and then Mercury coming along with it. So all of a sudden, those 4 are going to journey together. Pam Youngins is speaking about this traveling stellium. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars are all in Capricorn now, forming what is called a stellium of planets. While such groupings occur periodically, it is less common for 4 planets to be virtually side by side for an extended period, essentially forming a traveling stellium. This is what is transpiring in the first few weeks of 2026, as our foursome of planets journeys through Capricorn and into Aquarius. Capricorn is a goal-oriented, practical sign. With the Sun and the 3 personal planets in the sign, We would expect concrete, determined, collaborative action in alignment with our core values and long-term goals. This is setting us up in the most beautiful, positive way for what I'm hearing is enrichment, empowerment, the letting go and the receiving of. So this isn't like the slow poke, it's not the local train. It's the express. And it's all happening for us. And it's about core values and long-term goals. So this initial period is setting us up for this out with the old, in with the new, this whole time of the great awakening, the great unfolding, and to rise, that it's time to rise. It's caterpillar to butterfly. So continuing Pam Youngins, but the situation is much, much more complicated than that, with each of these planets opposing Jupiter and squaring Chiron, and squaring Chiron and Eris over the next 2 weeks. So there's an opposition to Jupiter, and then a square, a frictional aspect to Chiron and Eris. Going too far. This week, the Sun, Venus, and Mars all oppose the planet Jupiter. As the largest planet in our solar system, Jupiter magnifies whatever it touches. In opposition, it can indicate over-optimism, the Sun, overindulgence, Venus, and overconfidence, Mars. Some may overstep boundaries to achieve a goal. Overexpansion may meet the legal, ethical, or moral opposition, all ruled by Jupiter. And with the giant planet in empathetic, security-conscious Cancer, a tsunami of emotions could arise in response to overly authoritative actions or overly avaricious objectives, the shadow side of Capricorn. Old beliefs that we once relied upon to help us feel safe are being challenged at this time. We can see this playing out, this over zealousness, this over the ego, the shadow aspect of it, and how in opposition to Jupiter, and it being in the Cancer, the Sun in the Moon in Cancer, the emotion of it, of how we don't like that. That's not what we want. The collective pushing back and saying, no, we're not interested in this old belief system, this old aggressive nature. It's not what we innately know and feel or desire. There's also a cardinal grand cross. The issues being raised by these oppositions between Jupiter and the Capricorn planets could come to a crisis point this coming weekend. On Saturday, January 10th, a cardinal grand cross is activated when the Sun exactly opposes Jupiter, squares the Moon in Libra, and is also square Chiron and Eris in Aries. A grand cross represents extreme tension that is looking for a release point. It's like it's the peduncle, it's that final sloughing off of the wood snake. So we have this highly frictional aspect with this cardinal grand cross, this release point. This could be a time when those legal or ethical battles come to a boiling point. The public longs for peace and equity. It's the Moon in Libra. While Chiron and Eris in Aries expose the wounds inflicted by the arrogant, ruthless, unevolved ego. I mean, this is... it makes me laugh. I mean, it's like a nervous laugh. It's like, because again, behind every action is an intention. And what's the purity of that intention? And when they're illicit, everybody thinks they're smarter than the master weaver, the host, the unseen. They're but a criminal, that thinks that they just are the smartest person in the room. And yet what they never account for is the unseen. Divine willpower, divine will that says, not so fast. No. And while you're playing your role so that we all see its shadow, its opposite, the goo, it has a counter effect which says, yeah, I'm not for that. I don't want that. I'm not going to live that way. And the force of that collective nature with divine will, divine power, it's a game changer. Brings me to the influence of Eris. And Renee is sharing, I laugh with you. Awesome. Everything is coming up. Yes, everything is literally, it's like everything is coming up roses. It is in the sense that, again, do we have to go through the muck and the guck? The thorns and the weeds and all of this? Yes, because that means we're pruning, we're sloughing, we're pruning off the old. We're all getting a glimpse. I see your true colors. That we get to see what's within us. What do we all individually and collectively want? And the preponderance of 8 million souls says, I want harmony and peace and equanimity and equality and goodness and kindness and love. I want us all to rise. It's time to rise. And then there's a percentage that says fear and mongering and all of this, goo, that's their true color. Well, that's for them, not for us. And it's not for the new. And here's Eris's influence. She's this beautiful goddess. So the dwarf planet Eris, which plays an integral role in the Grand Cross dynamic, is especially strong now. I'm continuing from Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. The planet named for the goddess of discord is at a virtual standstill for the next 2 weeks due to stationing direct this coming Sunday. Audacious Eris is an agitator and an instigator, often upsetting the status quo as she reveals truths that humanity would rather not see. She is bold and brash, unafraid of stirring controversy, and willing to confront the established order. Eris is the leader of the Grand Cross, being the outermost planet involved in the configuration at the most elevated degree. As Eris awakens the feminine warrior archetype this week, some may finally face a reality that they have been trying to ignore, while others are inspired to take action. So again, here comes divine feminine. We've talked about, the Aquarian age, the matriarchal era, and this divine feminine. Here's the goddess of discord, again, wielding her sword and saying, not so fast. Colleen is saying, love her. I'm like, yes, you can see this. Because again, the divine feminine is within all of us. This is not a gender-based energy. It is within all of us. And it's being awoken. And it's pushing back against the establishment. And it's the voice that says, no, we can do better. We are better. We want better. And thus we harness that energy to rise, to stand up, to face the reality of things that maybe we've been trying to ignore, that inspires us to take action. So now let's jump to hexagram 57 and its penetration, permeate. Its underlying cause is shocking, arouse. This is the tower. And so, it's thunder, it's shock and awe. And here, speaking to the goddess Eris, speaking to the unseen, is our first quote in this beautiful image. And it says, the quote is, and this is from Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com, something very profound is also committed to your success. This divine willpower, divine will, the divine, the unseen. And you see that it's like Archangel Michael or any of the archangels, the ascended masters, this beautiful force of light and energy with the shield and the sword. Something very profound is also committed to your success. There is a gentle and unceasing power associated with the hexagram of penetration. It embodies the wind blowing over vast periods of time against a mountain. The smallest influence, when applied with a steadfast attitude, can break down any barrier. This hexagram can also symbolize how the wind can disperse the clouds as a form of clarity. Neptune moving from Pisces to Aries is going to bring about clarity, great clarity. The idea of looking more deeply at a situation to understand its less obvious dynamics is also at play. Whether you or someone else has established barriers as protection from intimacy, constancy and demonstrating trustworthy behavior can eliminate them. So this is about, again, don't be afraid. True colors, don't be afraid to be your true self, your innate, authentic self. Those that are meant to be with you, to journey with you, will. That's the fire horse. And those that are meant to fall away, the wood snake, the sloughing off, will. Yes, it can be bittersweet. Yes, it can be, it can have a melancholy. However, it's about that we eliminate these barriers of protection from intimacy and demonstrate a consistency and a trustworthy behavior that allows us to shine, to truly come forward. So Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com, hexagram 57. After the hexagrams about reaching an apex and then moving like a wanderer into the unknown, penetration is a message about constant and gentle action and is often referred to as the homecoming. It's our quote 2. It furthers one to have somewhere, oops, I got the wrong quote. Pardon me. There we are. It furthers one to have somewhere to go. And this beautiful image of this golden path and how we are all, again, it's that narrow path. Choose to walk the narrow path, the path less traveled. It furthers one to have somewhere to go because it is the one that is leading all of us and you to greatness. In some ways, we need not assert anything because there are other forces acting in conjunction with our efforts to bring us to a sense of arrival. See, we don't need to force anything. We just need to be in alignment with divine will, soul source connection. And this brings about because there's already forces acting in conjunction with us. They're not acting against us. They're acting in concert with us, conjunction with us. The extended time period suggested by penetration is like hexagram 5, waiting, and hexagram 32, duration. All require great patience, but with penetration, we exert influence in a permeating way. This brings us to our quote 3. When dedication and constancy permeate a situation, anything is possible. See, when we're committed, when we're dedicated, when we're consistent, it permeates everything and makes anything possible. And remember, the unseen is working in concert with us. We see this in how something invisible, like the wind, can shape a mountain. The hidden influence of opposition can show the barrier you are faced with, and the message suggests that you become more accommodating, more in alignment, more supple, surrender. You're surrendering to yourself, to your soul source connection, not to somebody outside of you or a force outside of you, the force within you. It's the force within. Willpower, divine will, align, surrender to the force within. And that force within is your soul. It's your knowing. The underlying cause of shocking showed the opposite behavior, where events are jarred suddenly from stagnation. Nothing happens suddenly with this hexagram. And we are being jarred suddenly, in the course of this last year, 2025, this 9-year, we're being jarred suddenly from the stagnation, the goo of the past. You are being called to become gently persevering. Like Sita in the Indian myth of Ramayana, she was captured and forced through many trials to prove her loyalty to Rama. In this situation, you may feel tested to prove your loyalty over an extended period of time. You're being tested. The unseen is saying, show me your true colors. So you're not being tested just to be tested. The unseen never does that. What we're being tested on is, show me your commitment. Show me your dedication. Show me your will is in alignment with divine will. Show me you're ready. Show me you wish to rise. do all that, be in alignment with all of that, so shall it be. However, the unseen is asking us to demonstrate because they're in concert with us. Show us where you are. Show us who you are. Show us what you desire. And when that is in concert with, the loyalty and the love and the goodness of all, because that's before us, then one shall rise. This hexagram is formed by the trigram of the wind over the wind, so the message of slow and dedicated effort is doubled. After a period of uncertainty and wandering, this hexagram can show coming home or returning to your roots. This is returning to your soul source connection. With penetrating effort and remaining still, listening, you will discover that something profound is also committed to your success. This is that beautiful image. Something profound is also committed to your success. The unseen, the divine, the all that is, wants for us. That they want this greatness for us. Renee is saying, trust the process, and it makes total sense. Yes, there's so much here that is so incredible on behalf of all of us. And I want to go to astrologer Juliana McCarthy at Ethereal Culture. And she's speaking about the astrology of 2026, the year the future holds. And I love this because it's all, 2026 baptism by fire, be ready, and these true colors. And we have a big number 5 I have to get to. I'm mindful of the time, but I want to get through all of this. There's so much powerful information for us to set the tone for 2026. So let me get Juliana McCarthy with Ethereal Culture. After years of standing at the threshold, 2026 is the moment we finally cross. In 2020, we began a birthing process with the unrelenting Capricorn conjunctions. Since then, we've been dismantling structures that no longer serve us without knowing what will take their place. We've encountered waves of intensity, brief openings followed by contraction, and the exhausting work of releasing what doesn't belong in our next chapter. We've spoken a lot about what doesn't go forward, what doesn't belong, what will not go into the new, because it doesn't belong. It's at a lower octave resonance. The past several years have asked us to keep going blindly without knowing whether our efforts would pay off. 2025 felt especially liminal. We straddled the end of one era and the beginning of another, catching glimpses of the future only to be pulled back into cyclical patterns and frustrations. It looks like the old is winning, but it's not. It's the weight of their own undoing. That hubris, that arrogance, that entitlement, that old shadow goo. The weight of it collapses. It deconstructs. And so it came with, this feeling like we were being pulled back, and that came with a lot of frustration. The process demanded our faith and resilience as we stood at the edge of change. In 2026, momentum finally holds. That momentum is coupled with this beautiful fire horse, baptism by fire. Pluto is now firmly in Aquarius, while Saturn and Neptune return to Aries and remain there. Soon after, Uranus re-enters Gemini. Together, these planets form a rare geometry of trines and sextiles. Trines and sextiles are harmonious aspects in astrology. What she calls a triangle of revolution. We saw this pattern flicker briefly in 2025, only to dissolve as the planets slipped back into their former signs. We were finishing up business. We were sloughing off that final amount of the old. This year, 2026, the configuration stabilizes. Where the conjunctions of 2020 compressed and constrained us, this alignment favors movement, innovation, and breakthrough. The new paradigm begins to anchor. So here we are, the great time of unfolding and awakening, 2026, 2027, 2028. The new paradigm begins to anchor. It takes hold. Juliana McCarthy, Ethereal Culture. On a collective level, so much has been forming beneath the surface, beneath fear and power grabs, as many desperately clung to the past. We've been seeding new forms of leadership, organizing society, and relating to technology and each other. In our personal lives, many of us are ready to transcend obstacles that once felt immovable. Meanwhile, all 3 Mercury retrogrades fall in water signs in 2026, alongside a rarer Venus retrograde that begins in Scorpio. Even as we accelerate, we remain tethered to emotional truth, tending to memory, grief, and unfinished psychic material. We move firmly into the future without abandoning ourselves, allowing our transformation to be both electrifying and deeply human. This is speaking to, again, see the emotive in the water signs, the divine feminine. She keeps us on course, on track. The divine feminine is that all-knowing, it's that she goes as guided, she listens. Well, the unseen is never anything but true north. Period. No negotiating, borrowing, bartering, and so forth. No, true north. And so here we have this beauty of the divine feminine anchoring us, keeping us steady as we literally race forward, move forward. But she keeps us grounded in purity and truth, in knowing, so that we don't bring into the new goo, shadow. It doesn't go, doesn't belong. The Triangle of Revolution, Juliana McCarthy at Ethereal Culture. The defining feature of 2026 is the stabilization of a rare geometric pattern formed by the outer planets in fire and air signs. We are crossing from an earth age into an air age, and this configuration represents that shift. Pluto continues its long journey through early Aquarius, transforming collective power structures, technology, and governance from the ground up. At the start of the year, Neptune and Saturn re-enter Aries. They're going to co-present in Aries, igniting a period of spiritual vision, accountability, and hard work. Manifestation. That's the one, the magician in tarot is the manifesting card. So manifestation energies run high. We can harness them when we remain dedicated and inspired. In late April, Uranus crosses into Gemini, completing the configuration. Uranus is the planet of shock and sudden change. In Gemini, he electrifies communication, media, and education. Together, these planets form a network of trines and sextiles, these harmonious aspects of flow, opportunity, and creative collaboration. What I'm hearing is creative brilliance. So they're going to create these trines and sextiles, these aspects of flow and opportunity and creative collaboration. It's going to be, like euphoric, divine inspiration coming into reality, manifesting them, becoming grounded, anchored, grounded. Unlike the tense squares and conjunctions that dominated the early 2020s, this geometry favors forward motion and genuine innovation. We're entering a highly creative time, charged with the potential to finally make our dreams real. What we begin now has traction. This is the astrological infrastructure for a new era, one oriented toward collective intelligence, rapid evolution, and decentralized power. We're liberating from stuckness on personal and collective levels, shooting forward like comets, blast off, like rockets, like comets, being blasted forward. And her 2026 aspiration is, in this new year, may we rally the courage to finally begin what we've held on only in our dreams, and the tenderness to root it in compassion. May we remember our interconnection, our shared joy, and our love for the world, building our future accordingly. And to do that, we must build that from within first. So it's to remember our interconnection, soul source connection, how our ego, mind, personality, our human, is connected to the divine, is divine. So it's to remember our interconnection, our shared joy, and our love for the world, building our future accordingly. We do that from within, first within, and it ripples out. True colors. Number 5 from the unseen, and this was, I heard the phrase eminent domain. And that is a legal term that has to do with the taking of property by the government, personal property by the government for a public purpose. But this was so very interesting. So we're going to close on this note. Eminent domain. Number 5, it denotes change. So they said eminent domain, the ultimate transfer of power, ownership, resolution, and outcome. So the phrase in spiritual and theological context is generally eminent domain, E-M-I-N-E-N-T, eminent domain, meaning supreme lordship or ownership, or the related term imminent, I-M-M-A-N-E-N-T, meaning indwelling or inherent. The word imminent, I-M-M-I-N-E-N-T, simply means about to happen. So we have this eminent domain, and there are 3 examples, meanings, definitions. In a spiritual sense, eminent domain refers to the concept of the divine's ultimate sovereignty and supreme ownership over all creation. Just as a government in secular law has the inherent power to take private property from public use with just compensation, the theological concept posits that the divine, as the creator and ultimate sovereign, has a supreme claim and authority over everything, over creation. The term suggests that all things, including human life and property, ultimately belong to God, to the divine, who exercised control and authority in his creation. Some theological interpretations use the term to describe how Master Jesus exercises his supreme right over creation and his people, redeeming them from a domain of darkness. This involves a, quote, just payment, his sacrifice, to reclaim believers as his own. The spiritual usage often contrasts with the world's way of eminent domain, which can limit or deprive human freedom. The divine's, God's ultimate claim in this view is seen as expanding freedom and guiding believers in discerning and following divine will. It is also important to differentiate eminent, E-M-I-N-E-N-T, from imminent, I-M-M-A-N-E-N-T, which means remaining within or inherent. In spiritual terms, imminence refers to God's presence as being very near to and present within his creation and people, rather than distant or separate, transcendent. The name Jesus is the heart of this biblical idea. It means God with us. The word imminent, I-M-M-I-N-E-N-T, means likely to occur at any moment or impending. This term is used in some Christian theology to describe the belief that the rapture or the second coming of Christ could happen at any time without prior warning or specific events that must occur first. So this number 5, this denotes change. It's from the unseen, and they're saying eminent domain. 3 different examples of the word, or the words imminent. Eminent, imminent, and imminent. The ultimate transfer of power, ownership, resolution, and outcome. So again, we're looking at how there's an indwelling, there's a closeness. It can be something that is near to happen. And it can also mean supreme ownership, meaning belonging to. All 3 apply. And how the ultimate transfer of power, ownership, resolution, and outcome, 2026, 27, 28, This is going to bring about the ultimate transfer of power. We humans think that we control the power. We control the levers of power. Simply not true. That is an illusion. Because again, we can watch Mother Nature. Man can build its greatest structure, and in a nanosecond, it's wiped off the face of the earth. Well, this is the same, that when we come into greater alignment and harmony, divine willpower, when we align with that, and that's number 7 from the unseen, this shift in power, in resolution, in outcome, in ownership. We belong to the divine. We don't belong to the devil, using that term. And thus, in this advance, this octave, going back to where we became an octave higher, going back to that higher octave, we awaken, we unfold, we remember, and we then live accordingly. We align with that and we live accordingly. Because again, the preponderance of 8 billion souls on the planet desire that. There may be a portion that doesn't, but that portion, as I'm hearing it from the unseen, that portion will be dealt with accordingly. Whatever that means. So align yourselves with the divine, with divine will, with the light of the world, because that brings about, and allow it to permeate. It's our beautiful mantra, in the light of my soul, I am. And that is where we are. And so while all of this is this massive opportunity for change, I'm going to lead you. I wanted to bring this in, but I'm mindful of the time. So I just want to bring in these quotes because they're so beautiful, from Astrology by Lauren. And I will post all of these on the Dearjames Facebook page so you can see this. She begins with a quote from Alfred Lord Tennyson. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. So we are letting the false leave us. As we ring in the new, we ring in what is true. And that is a guiding principle. And she concluded, and which I'll post her entire post, 2 quotes, one by King Whitney Jr. Change has a considerable psychological impact on the human mind. To the fearful, it is threatening because it means that things may get worse. To the hopeful, it is encouraging because things may get better. To the confident, it is inspiring because the challenge exists to make things better. So while change, and this is certainly a change, because we are beginning a whole new 9-year cycle, and this is a 1 year. And from the wood snake, the sloughing off of the wood snake, to the fire of the fire horse. Change, the wheel of fortune. But it's to be inspired with the change. It's to be in faith with it, not to fear it. And walk the path, align yourself and allow that truth, the purity of that truth to come in. And her final quote, Astrology by Lauren, that she used is by Goran Person. Let our New Year's resolution be this. We will be there for one another as fellow members of humanity in the finest sense of the word. So let us be there. We will all be there for one another as fellow members of humanity in the finest sense of the word. That's what's on offer. And when we collectively choose that, when we collectively align with that, the spirit of that energy, the purity and the force of that, the power of that, humanity in its highest, purest form is unstoppable. And unstoppable in the sense of expressing our divinity, our divine nature in the most magnificent way. It is that beautiful image of the fire horse and that light, that fire that comes from that, the luminosity of that. So there we are. There is 2026, an overview for 2026, this 10-year that is a 1 year that will become the year of the fire horse, and how the astrology, as above, the astrology, the planets and everything, the unseen, are working in concert with us to usher that in. I mean, to literally just knock out the old, out with the old, in with the new. And that it creates a blank slate for all of us. So choose, and choose wisely. Choose who you're with, choose who you align with, choose what you consume, and choose change. Choose to be in alignment with change. So I'll leave it there. Love you all. Thank you all for your presence, your comments, and your energies and love, and for walking this truly amazing path together. And we will see what's next week. See you then.